we got news of 2 different kinds of castings for the Lantern show. You said earlier that Hal Jordan had been confirmed. Is he full on confirmed now, or?
I thought he was full on confirmed.
All I had heard was that he was still he was in talks to do it, that he hadn't been like signed or anything yet. I could be wrong though, but who we're talking about is that Kyle Chandler is possibly in talks to play and possibly signed to play Hal Jordan in the Lantern show, which we had previously said Josh Brolin was in talks for. And then for Jon Stewart, we got the report that the actors Aaron Pierre and Stephen James are both up for the part of Jon Stewart. So I think all 3 actors can really kill it in their roles. I don't know if you found.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, he's gonna play Hal Jordan.
That's pretty amazing. I'm a big fan. I love Kyle Chandler in Super 8. That's pretty much the only thing I've like really seriously seen him in. But I think he played his part incredibly well in that, and I think he has the face and build of a Hal Jordan in my mind. I think he's got a very in the roles I've seen, he plays a very I don't know. It's almost like it's a reserved, but kind of military kind of cop background. And I don't know if that's exactly what Hal Jordan is, but I think in his old age,
he's a cop.
Sure,
he's a space cop.
He is. But I think in his old age, he's gonna be this kind of more reserved, more of a mentor figure, more kind of following the books than he was as a younger Green Lantern. And I think this fits really well for it. So,
yeah, I mean,
love Kyle Chandler for that.
I really like Kyle Chandler. I think that he does tend to play more for lack of a better word, cop related roles,
like in those roles. Godzilla ones, he was both in the military in that. And
it's funny that you say that, because I was gonna say my first introduction to him was in King Kong, the Peter Jackson 2005 movie.
Oh, really?
Where he was playing an actor who was really
he was the opposite of what we're kind of talking about.
He was pompous, and he was all about his looks and all that stuff. But he still ended up doing some good in that. But he was also in Super 8 and Argo and Zero Dark 30. He was the FBI agent in Wolf of Wall Street. So it's a lot of cop and agent kind of roles and military roles. But there's something about him that I think he always has a bit of a lightheartedness, or he's always at least, even if maybe lightheartedness is the wrong word, but he's at least, he'll make jokes while still being pretty serious. And I can buy
he feels
him.
like a dad, Yeah,
he feels like a dad, and he makes sarcastic remarks sometimes, or doesn't take things too overly seriously, but while still being serious.
Right.
And I think this is great casting, because I think he's going to do a great job as an older Hal Jordan. And regarding the other 2 actors, who admittedly I've not seen them in anything, but just basing off of looks alone, I think either one of them I'd be extremely happy with. I just want them to be a good actor. Regarding Aaron Pierre and Stephen James.
Go on.
Well, Aaron Pierre, I mean, if if it just looks alone, I'm if they got that guy, I'd be I mean, I don't know who else.
Dude, what's really interesting,
that looks like Jon Stewart.
It does. It really does. And what's really interesting is that a month or so ago, people on Twitter were saying I guess the show Genius, MLK /X just came out, and he plays Malcolm X in it. Mm-hmm. And I saw a clip from it, and his voice, and the way he looks, I mean, he just everyone was this guy's got to be Jon Stewart. And now that this news has come out, it feels this almost feels like wow, I'm blanking on the guy who's playing Superman right now. David Cornsweet. Like people, like there were some people who were like, this is the guy who needs to play Superman, and then it came true. And it feels like we're kind of like maybe James Gunn is like online and like in hearing these thoughts, and he's like, maybe this guy is the guy for us.
Maybe, but like James Gunn is somebody who's only going to hire somebody based on if they are a good actor and if they fit the role that he's going to play.
For sure. Yeah, and I think he's not going to just give them a part. They got to audition for sure. I think James Pierre would be my pick, even though Stephen James does look like I think he looks good for the part. I just never seen him in
either one of them. Yeah, I agree.
I do wish like Stephen James, like maybe not in the first thing he's in, but maybe he it keeps bulking up throughout the movies, because like I do imagine Jon Stewart as like this massive dude. Even though like I'm not the biggest Jon Stewart fan, so like my opinion probably doesn't matter a ton. I grew up with Hal. I'm sorry. Like I know you grew up with John. And it's like how you grew up with Wally West and I grew up with Barry Allen. It's just what it is.
I love Wally.
But yeah, no, I think both actors could play the part really well, even though I haven't seen Stephen James or Aaron Pierre really in anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you can't really be mad at any of these castings. They're exciting.
Yeah. And I mean, this show, I mean, I've been excited for it ever since it got announced. I'm continuously getting more and more excited with, the people that they have attached to write this show, people that they're getting to be the actors. And now that we're getting kind of just a tiny bit of an idea of that they're going for a mentor-mentee sort of like rookie on the job, like new recruit sort of story into this space cop murder mystery, uncovering things. Like it's going back to when we were talking about the Bane and the Deathstroke news. It's not something that I would have thought to start off with, but that's what's making it interesting. And it's like we're in the middle of somebody's story, or like towards the end of like Hal's story and at the beginning of John's, and I think it's a really beautiful place to pick up. And not that you couldn't tell a story about Hal Jordan in 2024 about I'm sure you could find an interesting thing, but I think what like this hearing all this information, this news like says to me is, what's another this guy who is an air fighter pilot or air fighter pilot and got this magical ring and now he's fighting evil. It's like, well, haven't we seen stuff like that before? Whereas now we get to have this cool show about like
a mystery on Earth
and like an older superhero mentoring a younger one. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. That's something that we haven't seen probably before.
Yeah. And I think like myself and a lot of Lanterns fans, I think we're like starving for some live action content. And I don't know.
You guys have been like on the verge of death. I mean, it's just you've been begging for.
Well, I don't know if you heard too, is that like a bunch of actors apparently were like turning down the Lancer, like the Hal Jordan role, because they felt like there was a lot of baggage because of like what Ryan Reynolds like has said recently about the role and like how it went the last time there was a movie about Hal Jordan. And so I'm just glad Kyle Chandler, it seems like he's accepted the role. I'm glad they found somebody who's like not scared to do it. And I'm excited to see one of my favorite superheroes again. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we know this is going to film next year at some point, but we don't know much more than that.
Yeah.
And hopefully this comes out in 2026 or so. That'd be great.